Hi guys, and welcome back to Hairdryer Treatment. Ladies in Red is back. I'm buzzing to say that the girls are back with me as well. I'll start off with you, Nicole, because your Instagram story, I must admit, just really made me giggle. How are you feeling today?
I'm all right. It's been a weird night and a few days on it, but my attitude is everything is just a laugh, so that's why I'm just I'm finding myself funny even if no one else is.
Love it. Keep on smiling. Keep doing that. Meg, how are you doing?
I'm all good. I'm absolutely. It's dead muggy though, so I feel like I am really hot. So if I look like I'm flushed, it's just so hot in this house. But I am all good, in a happy mood. Happy Friday, everyone.
Good to hear. Yeah, I keep forgetting it's Friday. I know I've broken up for 6 weeks. I can figure out what date it is, to be honest with you. Emma, how are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm like Meg. I am sat here melting. It's so hot. I've had 2 showers already and I'm still just sweating. It's so bad today.
It is. I feel like I'm gradually getting lower in my chair as I'm melting sat here, so I disappear at some point. That's why. It is absolutely boiling here. Hello to everyone in the chat. Hope you're all doing wonderfully well. Let us know where you're tuning in from as well. And if the weather's as nice as it is here in the UK. We'll start off, girls, talking about, obviously, we've had a lack of football at the minute. Season is over in terms of league football, Europa League, we've still got to play for. And I'll start with you, Emma, on this one. How seriously do you think that we'll take this? Do you think that Ollie will rest players, or do you think that we'll go with our strongest 11?
I'm in 2 minds about this. I don't know if he's going to go in there and play the younger players and give them a few games and then play our strongest if we get to semi-final and final, or is he thinking, let's go all out for this, let's win this and start with our strongest team? I really don't know what he's going to do. So I am in 2 minds. I do hope that he goes all out and plays his strongest 11 and let's just win something this year.
It'd be nice to top it off with a trophy, wouldn't it? That's what I believe. But obviously, we need to think about players' fitness. It's been a long, well, especially after lockdown, we've had a lot of games together. I mean, Nicole, what would you do if you were Ollie in this situation? How would you approach it?
It's $1 million question, and everyone knows I was gutted when we came out of the FA Cup, and especially in the way that we did. I want to see more than anything, not only United lifting trophy, but I want it for Ollie bad. I know, with 5 goals up, and I think the main thing here, I keep saying, is that the pressure is off. So I don't think it's that much of a mental challenge as it was, because we've secured Champions League now. So it's just, I would let some of the youngsters go out, have fun, they've got nothing to lose. But at the same time, I would treat it with respect and go all out in the sense of that we want to win it. I think it's just about getting that balance right. And again, I don't envy him, but I trust him completely.
Yeah, I agree with that, to be fair, Nicole. Massive thank you to Ryan. That's really kind of you with the super chat. So this afternoon, ladies, hope you are all doing well. Hope you're doing well as well, Ryan. And thank you again for tuning in. A lot of people are tuning in from all over the place. I love it. Saeedi's in the chat as well. Big up, girls. We've got to win Europa. Gives players who haven't won that winning mentality. Yeah, build trophy is always good. It's good for squad morale. It's good for that experience. And I agree with Saeed there. If you're in a competition, I know Meg will back me up on this one as well. If you're in a competition, you're in it to win it, aren't you?
You are indeed. And I feel like, although this, for us, this is like a second bite of the cherry for us, because like Nicole said, we've got Champions League secured. So talk about winning mentality for younger players. It's also good for them to gain experience in a competition setting like this, because at the end of the day, we have relied on younger players during the season and they've been inexperienced. Not to say that they weren't up to standard, but they have just been inexperienced in those situations. So I don't know what I would do personally, but I think obviously the next game is all but sign and seal, basically.
I might have to tighten up at the back a bit.
Yeah, just in case. If they get an early goal, you never know. But I just think it is about giving those younger players a chance to play in a competition and have that, not just footballing experience, but the mental experience of being under pressure.
Yeah, I think it's, to me, like you said, that last game, it's all but done. It is done, isn't it? Let's face it, they're not going to come back from that. And then, so I'd rest players for that one. Copenhagen, I believe, after that. Again, we could probably rest players. I've been playing players, to be honest, like Fred, McTominay, Igalo, players who haven't played that much, have been maybe making some appearances since lockdown, but you still class them as a first-team player as such. So I think I'd rest players, but I'd still put a bit of experience in there as well. I would like to see players like Laird feature, to be honest, because I think when he has features, he's upright. There's a lot of expectations around him, obviously playing as a fullback for us in the future. Sankardeep says, keep up the good work, girls in red. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for the super chat. That's really kind of you. Yeah, Dougie, he says, Copenhagen or Istanbul. So again, you'd fancy us, wouldn't you? You'd fancy us to beat those teams, even with a rotated squad. So yeah, definitely.
So if you're not saying that second word on Istanbul,
I was waiting. Don't ask me. I
You
can't
guys
say
know
Twitter.
me too
Maybe
well.
like Ashley Cole all over again when he couldn't read them. Bless him.
Talking of like bloopers, have you all seen the Eddie Hearn clip, by the way?
Yeah,
I just watched it.
Absolutely killed me. It's how he mumbled
Eddie is
afterwards. His
live.
face drops and it's like,
are we live?
So good. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's on Twitter, it's on Sky, it's on everywhere. But yeah, it's safe to say he didn't realise he was fully live, so it made me laugh. Jamie, thank you so much for the super chat. It says, go out with no fear, as we have nothing to lose, really. I agree with that outlook as well. We've got Champions League sealed for next season. It would just be nice. It's literally a privilege. It would be nice when to get a trophy at the end of everything. But it's not the be all and end all if you do or don't get Europa League. I mean, you look at the teams that left in there. Wolves are a team. I saw there's a few Wolves fans in the chat. Obviously, we will be talking about a Wolves player in a moment. But Wolves, you'd think, are going to go all out to try and get into the Champions League in Europa. We all hate playing against Wolves, me in particular, for personal reasons, as you know. But they're a horrible team to play against, to be honest. So, yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one. I agree with you girls that if you're in it, I think we're in it to win it. But I do also think there's an element that we need to rotate a little bit and we need to preserve our key players. But we've had a nice little rest. The last game will be an extension of that rest as well. And then maybe for the next round, we'll bring some of the big players back. But hopefully we go on and win it.
With that, I think like we relied so heavily on that front six, and you could really tell by the last couple of games of the season, of the Premier League season, that if we can build up with other players to start with, we're not going to look so leggy come hopefully to the final. So it would be nice to obviously have that rotation that you were talking about. Yeah, definitely, keeping it fresh. And like I say, some people deserve a chance at the end of the day. Fred, McTominay may feel a bit hard done by the fact that Pogba came back, Bruno came in, and it kind of restricted them, especially Fred. The first half of the season, I thought he was fantastic. And he strikes me as a player who needs a run of games to hit that form, and hopefully the Europa League could be that run of games to help him. So, yeah, I'm expecting to see him. In terms of, we mentioned Wolves just, obviously Raul Jimenez is a player that we've been linked with massively. Jimmy Jimenez, as my dad likes to call him, because he can't say his name, so I almost say that every time. But Jimenez, I mean, he's a player that I rate really highly, I'll be honest. Obviously, I see quite a lot of Wolves through my dad, and I do rate Jimenez. And my dad said to me, it's quite weird that this story cropped up, because me and my dad have been talking about this move for a long time, saying that Jimenez coming to United, I think he would suit us. Obviously, you've got the fact that Martial is starting for us, and Martial is playing really well, so Jimenez wouldn't come in as a starter. But he's at a point in his career now where surely he's thinking, this could be the last big contract, the last big move that I can get in my career. So it is realistic. It is doable. But do you guys, firstly, I'm going to say, don't believe anything that we read. Obviously, this is all just us talking, speculating. Nothing is confirmed. But I'll start with you, Meg, on this one. Jimenez, one, would you take him? And two, can you actually see that this is a real story? First question is a yes, I would take him. I think he has been superb so far for Wolves, and I think because he's in the Premier League, because he's already playing in the Premier League, it's quite transferable to just go to another team. So I'd hope if he did come, obviously we see that Jimenez that's at Wolves now into the United squad. Like you said, he's got an opportunity, if it's all true, to come to I would say United is a bigger club than Wolves, higher expectations. So I think that it could be true, and I think it would be a good move for him at this time in his career.
I think it all boils down to the money as well. I mean, Kevin said here, Wolverhampton won't sell for less than 60 to 70 million. If we're talking that money for a player who's not guaranteed to be starting, I don't want him. Like, I think we need to be more intelligent with the money we're spending. But if we're talking like 30 million, for example, it'll be the Igalo replacement, if you like. Don't forget, Igalo goes in January. So we do need another striker. And like I say, he's experienced. He's scored so many goals at the top level in Premier League. His link-up play, I think, is fantastic. And I was talking to my dad literally a few months ago about Jimenez to United, and he said if Jimenez left Wolves, the only club he'd like to see him at would be Manchester United. I've told you before, my dad has got a soft spot for us, and he does think that he'd be a good fit for us. I mean, Emma, do you rate Jimenez, and do you think that he could be a player for us?
Yeah, I do you know what? I would love him at United. You know, he gives us a different kind of option in attack. You know, his hold-up play is really good. He scores goals from crosses, which we don't do a lot. You know, he scores with his head. I think he's that different kind of attack that we definitely need, and I think he'll be good in the team.
Yeah, I agree with Josh as well. Josh said if Wolves win the Europa League, he'll stay for the Champions League. Maybe it does hinge on that. Like I've said, he's at a point in his career now. He'll want to be playing at the top level that he can do because he's not. I'm saying he's not got many years left. That sounds a bit horrible, doesn't it? But we know what it's like. He's at the prime in his career right now. And I think if Wolves do get into the Champions League, maybe that will change his decision. Maybe he's waiting on that before anything happens, which is why I'm saying don't get sucked in too early with the rumours. But obviously we need to discuss it because it's an interesting topic. But Alex, thank you so much for the super chat. He says we should aim to win the Europa League. Our best 11 should go into it with some rest behind them and be good preparation for the start of next season. Well, yeah, obviously pre-season is going to be a lot shorter. The season starts a lot faster than it normally would. So this would act as a bit of a tournament for pre-season, I'm guessing. So it's an interesting one. I do think we should rotate, but at the same time, I think we should take it seriously and pay the competition a bit of respect. And like I say, to finish, if you imagine Oli finishes this season, finishing third, getting to 2 semi-finals and winning Europa League, it would be a fantastic season, wouldn't it? Nicole, what's your thoughts on the Jimenez rumour?
Like you, I never believe anything, even though we've been saying for ages Sancho's going to happen, because I do believe it. I will not believe anything until I see the United post, not a Photoshop picture, United posted him in United red, and then I'm like, right, I'm happy now, because like I say, with United, it's a blessing and a curse. Every player's linked with us, and once they are, the prices are ridiculous, whether it's true or not. So, yeah, I would take him. My only concern, like you said, would be the money, because I'd be taking him for a rotating option for someone. Like Emma was saying, I was just nodding everything Emma was saying. He crosses, he can score with his head, he can score with his feet. So, and obviously, Gallo's off in January. And I've seen a few people say, oh, well, is that age? I don't think Ole wants players of that age. I think he just wants to give the youth a chance, but I don't think that at all. I think Ole's trying to get the balance of both just right. I think it's good to give youth a chance, and I think it's good to have experience, especially players coming in from other Premier League teams. But yeah, I would take him so long as the price was right, and so long as he was happy to obviously to come off the bench and not to be starting every game. Why not?
Do you think he will though? Because I think you look at Man City especially, I think they have had so many players, like good quality players, that I believe if you get the right rotation and not rely on the same sort of players week in, week out, that he won't just be a bench player. You might, for instance, you're never shocked at Man City when Aguero's on the bench or Jesus is on the bench, because he uses them so well in different aspects that you're not. I don't get surprised if I see Aguero on the bench now, but Aguero would probably walk into most teams.
I think it's healthy. I think competition is healthy for players.
Exactly. When I was on TalkSport the other day and I was asked about Sancho coming to United, how I think he would fit in. And obviously I said I'd expect it to be Greenwood who would first lose his place. But the useful thing with that is Greenwood can play literally any of the 3 positions going forward. So then, of course, to have that competition, at the minute we haven't got that. Ollie's looking at the bench and we need a plan B. People are screaming at him to make changes, but he hasn't got the quality to bring on from the bench. We need those quality players to be knocking on the door. We need players to be pushing the starting 11. And that's why I know it's Jimenez, like I said, that's why it comes down to money for me. I think Jimenez will come in as a rotation player, but if you're paying 70-80 million for a player like that, for me, that's stupid money. We should be playing far less than that. Sankadeep, thank you so much again for the super chat. It says a centre back or a CDM, which is the most important position other than the right wing, an attacking midfielder. Also, I'm hearing that Jimenez to Juve for 60 million. 60 million. See, that's a lot of money, isn't it? But I'll start with the first bit, and I'll start with you, Nicole. I mean, centre-back or CDM, as well as obviously Sancho on the right wing. What position would you say is more important?
It's a tricky one because, like, we've been talking about the defence, we've been talking about the options and stuff like that, and the options are there, but they're just not necessarily good enough. So I wouldn't say no to a centre back, but I'd be thinking more long term for a kind of replacement for Matic and to keep rotating the squad. I just think it comes down to it depends who it is. Like again, it comes down to money, and it comes down to Ole's vision long term. It's not for me to, like this. We keep having this thing of this player or this player or this position or this position. I'm just like, why can't we just go for it all?
Get them all.
Get them all. I'm greedy.
Get them all.
Nicole's going on a shopping spree.
We're there all window shopping. She's like, is that Harry Potter? I'll take the lot. That's Nicole.
If it's in B&M, I'll get anything.
Jack Attack says Wolves to sell Traore to Juve, and they've got 3 players from Juve to give Perrin, Regani, Romero, and Forts. Adama Traore is an interesting one. I don't see him being at Wolves long term. I think that Nuno's done fantastically well with him, but I don't see him staying there for the longevity. I can't see that. I don't think he's got enough quality. I think he's effective because
What are
he's
these
fast.
flying things about girls?
They're everywhere.
What is
They're
it?
absolutely everywhere. But I just think, I don't know, Adama, I don't think he's that good. I think when you watch him week in, week out, I think when you see him in spells, he's effective because he's quick. Obviously, if you get too close to me a role, if he's strong, you can stand off him, he'll knock it past you and run. But his quality on the ball, like I've said this before, I find him so frustrating sometimes because he'll beat a man and then he kind of stops and then tries to beat him again. And I don't know if he's got the decision making and the ability to be at a top club for a long period of time. I think Nuno's done wonders with him. But realistically, if Wolves get Champions League football and they can aim to get a better calibre of player on that right-hand side, I can't see him being long-term. And will he stay and be a sub? I think it'd be interesting with him. But next season, definitely, I think Adama will stay. Like I say, I think he's had a fantastic season under Nuno, and he'll try and do that again. But Grealish is another one who we've been looking with as well, other than Jimenez. And I said the same thing about him. We need competition. Is he willing to come to United and sit on the bench after he's been the main guy at Aston Villa? I think it's an interesting one. I mean, Emma, could you see that being realistic? Grealish coming to United and then being a rotation player?
It's hard because, like you said, he's been the main man. So if he does come, I think he might have his nose out of joint. But then that might be healthy competition for him to improve himself, to be in a team with all these quality players. So if he does come, I'll be over the moon because obviously we need that quality to come on. When we're taking a Pogba, a Bruno off. So I don't know. I just think he might just get his nose out of joint, I think.
Yeah, I can't argue with that, to be honest with you. Going back to the centre-back or the CDM, to be honest with me, I think Matic could do us for probably another season, obviously with rotation with Fred and McTominay in the holding. I think we're more desperate for a centre-back, if I'm honest. But I agree with Nicole. I think we should be looking at getting someone, even if it's just a backup as that CDM.
I think we should be more looking at the team as a whole as opposed to let's go all out and get this position. I think we need to be more looking at the team as a whole so that this time next season we're not saying, they couldn't bring any players on with real quality to replace what was on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? I think it's more about the whole picture.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Meg, what would you go for if it was a choice between the two? If you only signed one of those positions in the transfer window, where would you rather sign?
Do you know what? Before this week, I'd have been like centre back. We need someone pacey next to Maguire. And then a stat came out this week about Lindelof. He's the only defender that's not been dual passed in the Premier League. Now there are some incredible strikers in the Premier League. So I see a lot of slating towards Lindelof, and yet he's the one that has blocked every run to try and go past him. So he's not on the chase against people. He's holding them up already. So, but I agree with you. Matic, I reckon Matic has got another good one season in him, and then I feel like that's when he will start to transition, into with somebody else. So I don't know whether you bring in someone and perhaps fit him in terms of the centre midfielder, CDM role, and kind of ease him into the Premier League.
Nick said a good point. He said he would go for Ndidi. Ndidi, I think, is a great player. He fits that CDM role. I don't know if you girls have watched much Ndidi. Emma, do you think that he's good enough for United?
Well, like Nick says, he's everywhere on the pitch, and I think that's what you kind of need. That role, like Matic says, he kind of sweeps up and gets rid, and I think that's what Ndidi does. He kind of is everywhere on the pitch and he just gets rid, and that's what we kind of need. I think he'd be good.
I like Ndidi, and I think, like I say, he fits that role perfectly. I think Fred at the moment and McTominay, you've seen they're not as disciplined as Matic in there, whereas I think Ndidi's experienced to play that CDM role. I think he could do it, but I mean, transfers aside, like I said, I don't want to get too sucked in because we don't know what is happening or not yet, and I always say don't believe it until they're holding the shirt up. I would like Jimenez. I would take him as long as it wasn't for stupid money. I don't think we should spend 70, 80 million on him. But I do think he's a good striker and a goal scorer and brings us something different. Alex says, and again, thank you for the super chat. Wouldn't Declan Rice be an ideal signing for us? He can cover the centre-back and the midfield. He's young and someone who would offer leadership too. He was another one I was going to mention for that CDM role. I'll start with you, Nicole. Declan Rice, do you rate him?
I would take him. Yeah, it's again though, like I don't want to get myself excited. I don't want to get my hopes up because I want everyone.
Yeah, I'm like that. I'm literally like that.
So I'm like, I'd take him, but we don't need him.
I get sucked in. I get sucked in with the transfer.
It's so hard not to. I
I
remember.
say every time I won't, but with United fans, it's really hard not to.
You know what? That Pogba debacle, when we were signing Pogba and it was on and it was off, and that was the most traumatizing experience, I think, in a transfer window. Like, we've dragged on for so long. I get sick of it now. You know what it's like. You get linked with players just to sell papers and sell headlines.
Don't you just miss the days, girls, where you just like, you'd turn the telly on and then you'd find out and it was just like magic? Do you know what I mean? Like, none of this messing about in between. And then the thing is, now we don't get a player. It's like, oh, United failed there, but no one even knew if they went in for him in the first place. Do you know what I mean? It just takes a little bit of the magic out for me.
Yeah, but does it frustrate you when you're seeing teams like City, Chelsea getting deals over the line? Yeah, it is frustrating, but it's not as easy as just saying, "Oh, do you want to come and play for Manchester United?" And that's it, job done.
Yes,
there's a lot after that.
See you in a minute.
Yeah, if only it was that easy. Sadly, it's not. But we do seem really slow in the transfer window, definitely. Moving on from that and getting hyped about players that we possibly might not sign. What is and I asked you to think about this, so I haven't put you on the spot as such, but what would you say your favourite moment of this season is? And I will start with you, Meg.
I knew it would come to me first.
I saw your face.
I knew it was going to come to me because there are. I would throw it all the way back to that very first game, that Chelsea 4-0, and I cannot tell you how buzzing I was. I couldn't believe that we just beat Chelsea 4-0. I know everyone at the start of the season didn't really have much of a high expectation for Chelsea, but we go back to those games, and Sophie and I have spoke about it previously, where form goes out the window, and it is just and honestly, there's no form prior to the first game of the season, but they're those games that anything could have happened before it, and anything could happen in that game, and lo and behold, we come out and we win 4-0. And I just think, I know it didn't quite go to plan after that, and we didn't continue that all the way throughout the season, but that was a magic moment to start the Premier League, I think, for a Man United fan.
That game was mental, because no way should we have won that 4-0. No way at all, but we did. And I mean, my moment actually from that game, you probably saw it the other day when I mentioned it when I was live with Ricky. My moment was that Dan James celebration when he came on and he scored and he was so emotional. Like, I just love that moment. I thought it was magical, theatre of dreams. It was like written in the stars. So that one will be mine. I'll put it out there because it's the same game. Doug, thank you so much. Make sure you go and subscribe to his channel as well as Saeed, who we saw earlier on, as well as Emma's channel, That United Family. Make sure we go and hit the subs and show support to them. Doug says, I know it was yesterday, but happy International Friendship Day. Thank you, Doug. Happy International Friendship Day. Great show as always. Jimenez for 72 million would be pricey. At least it's not Kepa you get. True. To be fair, Kepa scores quite a lot of goals as well, doesn't he? But in his own goal. Shocking. Karen Rex say, thank you again for the super chats. Van der Beek is better option than Grealish. Thoughts? Van der Beek, I think, is a superb option. I would love him at United. That's another one though. It kind of it was out there. There's loads of rumours, and it kind of went under the radar. They're the ones that I get more interested about. Because I think, why has it gone so quiet? It happened with Bruno, if you remember. It was all out there, and it went a bit quiet. And then the next thing you know,
when it's constant, it just gets boring, and you think, oh, it's not happening.
So Van der Beek is definitely an interesting one. Guys, let us know what your favourite moment of the season is as well in the chat. There's one that just made me laugh, and I just want to put it on the screen because it tickled me. This one made me laugh. Twisted Baba's favourite moment was Pogba taking it on the face.
Emma, don't you start.
I had to put it on there. That was a funny moment, though, to be fair. It wasn't funny at the time. I remember everyone was livid, including me. I was thinking, what on earth are you doing? But yeah, that was the standout moment, definitely. Emma, what would you say your favourite moment of the season was?
I've got two. Can I have two?
Of course you can.
Okay, well, first one is exactly the same as Meg. It was the first game of the season, 4-0, and I come out of that game thinking, we're going to win the league. I was all hyped up. I was like, can't believe it. We're doing it this year. Obviously, that didn't go to plan, but I just felt that in that moment, I was just so happy. First game of the season, we beat Chelsea 4-0. Like, you couldn't have written it any better. Second one, against Chelsea again, Rashford, that free kick, the 35, 40-yarder. Oh, it was beautiful.
It was special, that goal, wasn't it?
Beautiful. So, yeah, that's my two favourite moments.
Two brilliant moments. That Rashford free kick. The more I watch that, the more
you can watch that on repeat and not get bored of it.
Even in slow motion, the movement on that is absolutely ridiculous. Like, you couldn't hit a free kick better if you tried. Like, a million times, a gazillion times. It was just ridiculous. Like the accuracy, it was just quality. So yeah, that was a standout moment, definitely. Nicole, what would you say your favourite moment was?
I'm sounding like a right parrot here, but I swear down, this is what I was going to say. I think what's important is how you start and how you end in games during the season. The first game, I agree with you, Soph, and you, Meg, what you were saying. It was the win, but it was also, for me, it was just the emotion. Like, for me, like, however much we can sit here and go about football and all the practicalities, for me, I fell in love with it as a kid just for the game, just to see, like, you know, like dreams. It sounds cheesy, but just to see dreams come true. And when I seen James, after everything he'd been through, celebrating that goal, as well as the scoreline, and as well as my being a little naive person thinking, oh, you never know what's going to happen this year. Now, just all of that for me was special. And also how you start and how you finish. So finishing third's up there, because even though I predicted it, I still didn't believe it. And Bruno's goal against Brighton, the team goal, because like I was broken for a long time just watching it, so I have to put it out there.
Yeah, Jack Attack says my favourite moment was when Lingard sealed the Champions League deal and when Pogba pretended to be a goalkeeper against West Ham. Yeah, I think the Lingard one was a nice moment though, because he's had a lot of stick. We know that he's had a lot of stuff going on. He did an interview with Maya Jama the other day, didn't he? Talk about depression, and he's had a lot of stuff going on off the field. People forget that football is a human at the end of the day. Lingard, we know he hasn't been good enough. Yeah, exactly. But for him to come on and score that goal, like we said, didn't we, could possibly be his last goal for the club. I did think that was a nice moment. And like I say, it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Jesse Lingard on the pitch has been frustrating, but off the pitch he seems a lovely guy. Obviously, he's mank through and through. And I just hope that if he does leave United, he gets a good move and he does push on in his career and get back into that England squad, because I do like Lingard as a person. And I just felt for him this season. It's been tough. So that was a nice way to end it, definitely. It's nice that he scored to get through to the Champions League. Kevin's asked who your player of the season is. I mean, I answered this. I think like Sam was put on the spot, and I was saying, Rashford for the first half of the season, he basically carried us. He was fantastic. And I said second half of the season, Bruno obviously has been fantastic. But when I watched highlights back from the season and stuff like that, and afterwards when I had time to think about it, I have to agree with what Kevin says there. Yeah. Martial, when you look back at the goals he was scoring earlier on as well,
you think what a waste of money.
Yeah, he has been fantastic this season, really, with the service that he's had and the inconsistent people around him. He has been good though, hasn't he, Emma?
100%. I said in my video that I had 4, but Martial just tops it because he has improved so much this season. He is developed into that number 9 role nicely now. His hold-up play is good. He's just developed and come on so much that you can't ignore that this season. And I think that gives credit to Ollie as well, though.
I would have to say, definitely. I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka runs in very close, though.
Yeah,
that man goes about his business, and I think he's in a position where you don't see all the goals. I think Martial has obviously come on leaps and bounds, and you see that reflected in his goal rate, scoring ratio now. Whereas I think Wan-Bissaka has been consistently good.
I think Wan-Bissaka,
and we relied on him.
He was overplayed, wasn't he, at the end of it? Like, he was just shattered. You could tell in the last few games he was off his feet pretty much. But yeah, for his debut season at United, I think he had a heck of a season.
Defenders Union over here.
How good is it?
We got the defenders.
How good is it that we're all sitting here thinking which is a player of the season, as opposed to a few years ago it was like De Gea.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Dave. Like, I love it when he's on form, but I'm just saying it's so good to not just have the goalkeeper to be like, yeah, we had a belter of a season, shame about the rest of him.
Yeah.
It's true. It's nice to have a choice, isn't it? Palms for Justice says, look, what's your view on the way with the transfers? Even Norwich smash United when getting players in. Ed sucks the fun out of each window. Your thoughts? We mentioned this just, didn't we? It's so frustrating seeing other teams getting deals over the line and we just see rumour after rumour after rumour and nothing seems to happen with it. What I will say is, I mentioned this, just transfers are hard to get through. They're hard to push through. Ed Woodward does seem to take a lot longer than other teams do. As long as we get the business done before the end of the window, to be honest with you, I won't be moaning. If we don't get the players in, then I'll be worried, because I do think we need to invest in this transfer window. We've got Champions League back, so there's no excuse for us not to invest, really. But yeah, as long as the deals are done before the end of the window, I won't get on Ed's back too much. But definitely we do seem a lot slower when the other teams doing business. And why that is, I have no idea. Ed Woodward, we've all given him stick in the past, we know that. But it'd be interesting to see what happens. Now we've got Champions League behind us. I do think that we'll see a few players coming in, as well as a few players going out, which we'll discuss in one of our shows in future, as to who we think should go and who we think should stay. I think that'll be a good video for us to do, girls, where we trim the squad and say who we keep and who we get rid of. I think that'll be a good one. Ollie's best transfer says Quali. Wan-Bissaka's going to be up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's done well. Wan-Bissaka's going to be up there. Obviously, Maguire's going. Bruno Fernandes for me, though. I think it's just lit the league
In
up.
another
He's lit
league.
United up. Yeah, he's just been quality. So Bruno Fernandes for me. But what I will say is every transfer that Ollie's had so far, I'm including Dan James in that, he's done good business.
I
Dan
agree.
James will pay cheap for him, and I think he's still got a lot of progress to make, yes. But I think he's a good signing. I think every signing so far has been a positive one, which is why I'm hoping that we get back him in this window. The last one that I want to... This was an interesting question, and we're going to round off on this one. Guys, feel free to get involved in the chat as well. I asked each of the ladies, if you could bring one player back from the past, and this could be dead or alive, it doesn't really matter, but someone who's played for United previously, if you could bring them back now, and obviously they'd be playing at the peak of their career, who would it be and why? I'll start with Nicole on this one. Nicole, if you could bring one player back, who would it be and why?
At first, I was just going to say Ronaldo. Everyone knows how much I love Ronaldo, but it's an obvious one. So I thought, no, I'm going to go a little bit deeper here. And for me, it's a what ifs that get you more than anything, because however Ronaldo left and we've seen him get better and better and better, but we did have some good years out of him. I think for me, I just would have loved to have seen, Duncan Edwards carry on his career at United. He was taken far too soon, and like still to this day that he was taken at 21. It just haunts me, and I don't know. I've always just felt this thing with him of just what if. I think Bobby Charlton said he was the only player that made him feel inferior, and to have quotes like that about someone, and sadly we lost him at that age. For me, it was everything that United was about, and I would have loved to have seen him. I would have loved to have seen him get better and flourish. But yeah, so my thoughts are always with the babe, so I had to go from the heart and go with Duncan.
You know, that's a good shout. And Duncan obviously is from near where I live, in Dudley. So much expectation, so much positivity, vibes around Duncan Edwards as a player, saying obviously what they expected him to become. It's such a shame that he didn't become that player, but I do know he's extremely talented, and I think that's a great shout, to be fair. I would love to see more of Duncan Edwards clips, to be fair. I feel like I need to watch more of Duncan Edwards clips. I've only seen bits, but people talk about him so highly that I feel like I need to make more of an effort and do that. But it's a great shout, Nicole, definitely. Emma, I'll come to you next. If you could bring one player back, who would it be and why?
It has to be my absolute favourite player, the King, Eric Cantona. He retired far too soon. He was iconic. We don't make him like him anymore. He's just out there, isn't he? He was an out there player. He scored some amazing goals. I remember the goal against Sunderland where he just scored and he kind of just stood there and just turned to everyone.
He just turned like this. Collar up, by the way. Collar up.
Collar up. He just meant the business, didn't he?
Yeah. Cantona's hard to argue that one, to be honest. Yeah, the King, definitely. Such an entertaining player. Obviously, you always think about the kick into the crowd and stuff like that as well. But yeah, he was just such a character. Definitely, Cantona is a great shout. A lot of people saying King Eric in the chat, to be fair. Dennis Irwin, someone's just said, solid. I said this, I was thinking, the way I've been approaching this is thinking, where do we need players now in our current squad? I was thinking, if we brought a legend back, for example, would it be a left back? Would it be a right back? Where would I be thinking? And that's the way that I've tried to approach it. Meg's nodding, so I'm guessing she's done a similar thing as well. So that's why I think Irwin is a good shout. But Meg, go on then. Who would you bring back and why?
This is the trouble that I had, because I was thinking, like, if I had to bring them back and literally put them into the team that we're playing now, I'd have brought back either Vidic or Ferdinand, because I just wanted a solid core centre-back partnership, because I think you can build from there going forward. People will know that I absolutely love the Vidic and Ferdinand duo. They just epitomise.
Who didn't?
The defense, like a central defender in my eyes. That's what I want to be like. And then I was thinking, like, obviously Ronaldo is an obvious one, because he has carried the teams that he's been to after us. He has carried them to win multiple titles. And I think, what if we had got him, or if we had kept him when we had him, what would we have won? Because if he can do it to other teams, what would he have done to Manchester United? So that was another one I was thinking. But and he's not been gone for ages. Rooney came into my head, because I
love Rooney.
I'd have loved to have had him and kept him at United to play in the team that he is now, and to develop the younger players into what Wayne Rooney's style was about. So he was another one. And then there was Roy Keane, because I just think he epitomised again Manchester United. I've got a whole list of players. Sorry, girls. But
they're all leaders, though, aren't they?
Yeah, Nicole wants everyone.
Yeah, they were all being greedy.
Nicole wants everyone, and you're choosing several. It's hard to choose one. It is really hard.
But I do agree. Like, if you're going to go for a player that's actually going to play in the team right now, I'd have gone for Vidic or Ferdinand.
Yeah, I think Ferdinand. Imagine Ferdinand next to Maguire right now. Like, I think he would compliment him perfectly, wouldn't he? But Abul, thank you so much for the super chat. Obviously, I want to wish everybody who's celebrated Eid, I hope you have a fantastic day and really enjoy your celebrations, of course. And thanks for tuning in on Eid as well. Really do appreciate that. Thanks for another great chat, ladies. Worth it 100%, even at Eid. Question: your first United player that you fell in love with? Mine was Cantona. Well, this kind of ties in what I'm going to say. The player that I would bring back, and this isn't even based on talent, but Meg Smiley, she knows who I'm going to say. 4 goals for me. I absolutely love the guy, and he was the player that I fell in love with. Like, he made me fall in love with football. Paul Scholes, the way that he passed the ball, even his tackling just used to crack me up. He could not tackle for shit, but it used to crack me up. Like, everything about Paul Scholes, I used to just love Paul Scholes.
Sophie, that's how Sophie tackles, everybody.
But it's just that I do take after the tackles, definitely. But it's just everything, like how humble he is. I just love Paul Scholes. And like I say, around that era of me growing up, he was the one who caught my eye, and the reason that I started trying to pass the ball myself and playing football myself. So on a personal level, it'd be Paul Scholes. But if I'm looking at the current team right now and you're thinking we need a centre back more so, I would be saying Ferdinand or Vidic, one of those two coming back, because I think they'd be absolutely incredible. But like you guys said, there's so many to choose from. It's hard to choose just one. Special mentions to a lot of players. Someone mentioned Van Nistelrooy there. I've seen Van Persie's been mentioned. Robson, Charles. There's so many. But yeah, Scholes.
We've been so lucky, haven't we?
We have. Girls, in response to Abul, to round it off, who was the first player that you fell in love with? And I'll start with you, Nicole.
Oh, mate. It's a picking. I can easily go for Scholes, like you said. I can easily go for Giggsy. My youngest son's called Ryan. But for me, if I didn't say this, my mum would kill me. My mum absolutely loved, all the time I was growing up, was David Beckham, and he was just like the man of the moment. Every man wanted to be him, every woman wanted to marry him, and he was with the Spice Girl, and I love the Spice Girl, so I'm gonna go in my heart. I'm gonna go with DB.
Yeah, it's hard. I think everyone fell in love with DB. To be fair, everyone fell in love.
But it could be like another 10. To be fair.
Yeah. Most lads that I know fell in love with him as well. Like, everybody.
Don't Kyle fancy him, Emma?
Yeah, everyone loves him.
He's got a massive man crush. I'm pretty sure if David Beckham knocked on our door and said, "Would you run away with me and leave Emma?" he would say yes.
He would. Then I'll come and live with you, Em.
Emma, who would you choose?
It would be David Beckham. It would be David Beckham. Growing up and watching him, he was, that blonde head, pretty boy that could play football. You just fell in love with his looks and his football. So it would have to be David Beckham.
Oh my God! Wait, let me just get something. Hang on 1 second.
Okay. Meg's on a mad one.
Yeah, the thing is, obviously Beckham, he was something different, wasn't he? His hairstyles. I mean, you compare him to Pogba today. Look at that. Yes. Look at that.
Yes, Meg.
But it was different. He had different hairstyles. They had those Predator boots, iconic. Like, everything about Beckham, he was a brand in himself, wasn't he? Like people say Pogba is. He was a brand in himself. And that's
Before
why
people, I think,
him. He was the first of his kind to do that. Yeah, like that's what I mean. He was just different out the box, and I loved everything about Beckham, to be fair. And obviously, he was a great player as well. Let's not forget that. But Meg, who did you fall in love with? Who was the first player you'd say you fell in love with?
That was mine, Beckham. I literally had posters of him around my bedroom. I had a necklace with a David Beckham picture of it. I had the towel, Manchester United towel with Beckham. Everything that was Manchester United related with me had to have Beckham on it. It was my ultimate favourite from such a young age. And I did try and play right wing when I was first starting out at football. And then I swiftly got moved to centre back. So
that's mad.
And I did play right wing for a while actually, and then I kind of went into centre mid, and that then ended up at centre back. Just kept on getting pushed back and back and back. So, but no, for me, Beckham, he was the ultimate icon.
Yeah, he was, to be fair, definitely. Guys, we're going to round off on that. I want to say a massive thank you as usual to the ladies. Meg, if you could just let people know where they can find you on the socials.
I'm here at Meg Wilts, and you can find us on official Ladies in Red.
Yeah, official
Real Ladies in Red.
Real Ladies in Red. But we are the official.
Only because official won't fit. Oh, geez.
But you can find us on Real Ladies in Red, and we all have access to it, so you will find tweets from us all. But yeah, follow us on here and on at Real Ladies in Red.
Yeah, guys, we will be doing a shirt giveaway as well when we get to 1,000 followers on the Real Ladies in Red Twitter. So make sure you go and hit the follow on that as well. We'd appreciate it. Because we are, like I say, we all got access to it. We are going to put regular content on there. We are making a big thing of the Ladies in Red because we love doing the shows and we've had such a positive response from you guys on the shows. So yeah, please do hit that follow. And like I say, we are going to do a giveaway on 1,000. So anybody who's following us is in with a chance of winning that shirt. Nicole, let people know where they can find you as well.
Where's my hand? It's there. United She Stands on Twitter and Instagram. And like Meg said, follow Real Ladies in Red.
Definitely go and follow Real Ladies in Red.
We love each other and we love doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
We really do.
Look how we've been smiling throughout this.
Yeah.
Love it. Emma, let people know where they can find you. Definitely. And obviously, shout out your channel as well, Em.
Yeah, my channel is That United Family. You can find me on Twitter, XEmmaX88, and also the Twitter page, Real Ladies in Red. Go hit the follow button on there and get us to 1K so you win a shirt.
Yes, go and do it. Alex Marmon, again, thanks so much for the super chat. Last question, first shirt you've ever worn. I think mine was the Vodafone.
Mine was the Vodafone one.
Vodafone.
Yeah, the Vodafone.
We're Vodafone here with kids, aren't we?
No, but did you have the 99 one?
I don't think I had it.
I don't think I did either.
I think I had it later on. I don't think I had it around that time.
That Champions League night, I was actually in Mallorca, and I was in a full kit with my jelly sandals on. So
you know what?
I went full kit, and then I was like tomboy, and then I was like, got to get a bit of girly girl in here. Put the jelly shoes on.
That's me with my Spice Girls platforms back in the day.
I'll have to find out. I'll find a picture for everyone of me in the full kit that night.
Oh yeah,
that's our homework. We'll go away and we'll try and find an old picture of us in a United shirt. I think that's our homework. I think that'd be good. That's something
I've only got
one on our Twitter. Maybe keep an eye out for these pictures on Real Ladies in Red Twitter. We'll see if we can find some. Because I've seen a few old ones of me in the Vodafone, but maybe I've got different ones. I don't know. I need to have a look. My memory is.
I need to ask my mum.
Yeah, I they've got any more pictures. They're sat right here, so I have to ask him to dig through all their photo albums.
That's it. We'll see if we can sort some, but obviously no pressure. But I think it'd be nice to see that. Guys, I want to say a massive thank you to everybody in the chat for the super chats we've had. I hope you all have a fantastic evening. Enjoy the lovely warm weather. I'm actually melting right here, and I know the girls are too. Have a brilliant one. Hit the like on the video if you haven't already, please. Do subscribe if you are brand new. Follow Real Ladies in Red on Twitter. Follow all of the girls. Support them as well. Have a great evening. Keep smiling. Stay positive. And we'll see you all soon. We've just had a last second super chat. Thank you so much, Mustafa. Great show, ladies. I think Jimenez would be a great signing. Remember when we had Tevez, Rooney, Berbatov and Ronaldo? It was allow us to compete on all fronts. I agree with that. Let's try and sign some top players. Jimenez, I would take him at a decent price. But definitely I'm not writing it off. But guys, stay positive. Hopefully we get a good FA Cup final tomorrow to watch. I'm not really too asked about who wins, to be honest, but I'm hoping for a good game, a bit of football, and we'll be back soon with the Europa. But up until next time, take care, guys. See you soon.
Bye.